Insert shot of feet. Introduction shot to restaurant. Filmmaking. Dzień dobry, YouTube, i witamy to another episode of Atticus Eats. Boy, oh boy, do we have a special one for you all today. I'm saying that because I'm hungry and food is awesome. We are eating Carl's Jr. / Hardee's. My dear friends, let's check off every item on the bingo card. I am so grateful to be back here in my vehicle with you all today. It is still a triple-digit kind of day. It's actually, my thermostat right now says 100 degrees here in Southern California, but we have found a delicious shady spot here in this parking lot, and I'm so happy to be able to partake now in the goods and services that is Carl's Jr. So, for those of you who might be outside of the United States, I remember bringing this up on a live stream recently, where I was mentioning how we in the United States, we are such a big country, and obviously there's significantly more history in the eastern part of the country as opposed to the western part of the country, because of our nation's history. It's so interesting because depending on which coast of the world, you know, air quote world, but of the nation that you're in, we have different names for the same products or places. So a prime example is the Hellmann's brand of mayonnaise. If you hail from the eastern part of the country, you know it as Hellmann's mayonnaise in the jar. But if you're in the western part of the country, it's known as Best Foods mayonnaise. Well, Carl's Jr. is no different, and this is the, paramount fast food place that I know this to be true. Carl's Jr. here in the western hemisphere of the country is known as Hardee's in the eastern hemisphere of the country. And I remember it was so cool when we took a vacation to Vermont to visit Tasha Tudor's house when I was very young. I think this was when I was about 12 years old we did this. It was so fascinating because we had been eating some local food, which was fantastic. And that's primarily what we ate. But we were in one hemisphere of the state where we were like, no, we need to get something quick but hearty. So we were like, oh, hey, Mama, what's that? It looks exactly like Carl's Jr., but it says Hardee's. And my mom was like, oh, yeah, Carl's Jr. is known as Hardee's on the East Coast. And I go, really? And it blew me away. And it was so funny because I remember distinctly that the customer service in Hardee's in Vermont was eons better than anything that we've ever had here in Southern California. I remember that we put our little number on the table, and they actually brought us our food like a waiter to the table. And hey, do you need anything? Do you want some ketchup or ranch or something? And then we asked for ketchup, and they went and got it for us and brought it back. And I was like, man, New England hospitality at its finest, am I right? So, that was seriously awesome. A very delicious memory of mine. But Carl's Jr. has a very special place in my heart, because we not only had a Popeyes next to us, next to the Warner Brothers Ranch in Burbank, but we also had Carl's Jr. next to us. And that would be something that on the days where maybe I was entitled to a second meal because of SAG child labor laws, or if I was in a position where, we started our day a little bit later and we wanted food that wasn't set food before we started work, Mom and I, we would often stop off at Carl's Jr. next door and be able to procure sustenance. So back in the day when I was really little, my favorite thing to get from Carl's Jr. was the little Chicken Stars chicken nuggets, the little kids meal for that. And I got something else that we're gonna have after we eat this, that I'll show you, that is my lifelong, mwah, chef's kiss beauty of Carl's Jr. But my mom would always get the spicy chicken sandwich. And when I got older, I got into the spicy chicken sandwich more. But then, at some point, and I think this was when I was on set, and I really just wanted the taste of a burger, but I wanted it kind of plain, I got into the Big Burger, the Carl's Jr. Big Burger. And so that's been my meal of choice going to Carl's Jr. You know, you just kind of want something hearty, you know what I mean? It's got the all-powerful sesame seed bun. It's got mustard, ketchup, pickles, you know. As if I were to grill a burger at home, but I'm not grilling a burger at home. You know what I mean? That's why I get the Carl's Jr. Big Burger. Those are comedically small onion slices. I actually almost don't even want to take them off, but they're raw. I'll leave the little fella on. And that's cool too, because you get the taste of the onion, but not the horrific afterbite. But yeah, these definitely... Where was it? Comment down below if you're a longtime fan of the Atticus Eats series. Where was it that I said, hey, this bun is the same bun as Carl's Jr.? I don't know where, but man, this looks really good. Soft bun. It's not a burnt bun. It's not a dry, stale bun. Soft bun. Good looking burger. Nezdrovia, people. Let's have some lunch together, shall we? That's good stuff. That's good stuff right there. I'm laughing because I myself am a mustard guy. I enjoy mustard. Especially on like burgers and hot dogs. And corn dogs. And pretzels. But I have someone in my life right now. I've been talking with her and she said that she's not big on mustard. She just doesn't like mustard at all. That's not her thing. And it makes me laugh every time. So now when I think of mustard, I think of her distaste for mustard. And it makes me laugh. Comment down below, people. Are you pro mustard or against mustard? And what kind of mustard do you like? Grey Poupon, Dijon, yellow mustard, like just plain and simple, like what's on this, spicy mustard. I am definitely a honey mustard. I'm definitely a honey mustard guy. I'm a Dijon and a spicy mustard kind of guy, and I'm a yellow mustard kind of guy. Just a cook-through charbroiled burger on a soft sesame seed bun. Awesome. Very awesome. Comment down below this too. What is your perfect preparation of burger? Burgers are a very unifying subject, but they're a very diverse subject. And you can get very creative with burgers, right? I know that my brother, more than once, has made burgers that were technically, like, impregnated with cheese. And those were very good, or so he says. But I'm very curious, how would you all cook a burger? Or how do you like a burger prepared for you when you go to a restaurant? Are you a spice person? Do you load it up with everything but the kitchen sink? Do you prefer like a more barbecue style burger? What's your jam and jelly, my friends? Are you a breakfast burger, crazy whippersnapper? Tell me. Let's get the burger conversation going in the comment section. Home stretch, people. I am wolfing today. Very good. Now then, before I unveil the next part of our delicious lunch that we get to have together, my friends, we're going to take back to the comments section and we're going to answer some more amazing questions posed by all of you amazing people. And also, too, I am loving the reaction to me trying Vegemite. That was hilariously awesome, and I'm so thrilled that you guys have responded the way that you have to that video. I cannot thank you all enough. And I want to especially give shout outs to all of my friends down under, my Aussie companions, for being such good sports and having a rich sense of humor. Thank you. It is so refreshing. I definitely love the idea of trying foods from different countries. So, who knows? I don't know how to embellish upon that more, but it's funny. It's really awesome. Anyways, on that note, what we got? All right. There's so many questions, and I love them all. And what it is when you see me look at my phone, I make a list of questions that I take from all of you in the comment section. And then I also have a category on my Discord server that I will draw from, and I have people who are in the Discord server be a part of. And it's so much fun to be able to hear what you all want to know from me. And so I cannot encourage you all enough. Please, if you have a question that you want to ask me that you hope to get answered in a subsequent Atticus Eats video, please write it in the comment section below. And if you see a question in the comment section below that you really like and you think would be fun to hear answer, give that question a thumbs up, because I would love to be able to answer that. And even if it's a question that I've already answered before, I can hopefully direct you to the video where I answered it. And I just think it's so much fun. But this one is particularly cool because I have such a detailed, elaborate answer. But a gentleman by the name of The Game Czar, C-Z-A-R, The Game Czar, here on YouTube, asked me, do you like board or tabletop gaming? If yes, do you have a favorite game mechanic, or game designer? And as a homeschooled boy, do I have an answer for you, my friend. Thank you very much for your question, The Game Czar. Yes, so I am a huge nerd. In every respect, like, obviously, if you watch this channel, you know. I am a huge nerd, and from a very, very, very early age, I have loved board games and card games. And to this day, still, one of my favorite things to do with my family or friends is to play tabletop games. I love Farkle, I love Sorry, I love Trouble, I love Uno. There's an old school cool game that my mom got me into that's called Aggravation, and it's like it's like Trouble and Sorry had a baby, but it's a little bit more advanced, and it's awesome. It's such a fun game, such a classic game. Who here remembers Aggravation? Comment that down below. But from a very early age, I actually played chess, and I competed in chess tournaments, and we're talking 5, 6, 7 years old, 8 years old is when I would be playing. And I've won trophies, actually, from playing in chess tournaments against peers of my grade, and also more advanced and older players. I actually once played a Russian chess champion. He creamed me, but he had fun with me, and he said so, because I was good, and I was making him fight for it. But yeah, I did once play a Russian chess champion, which was a lot of fun. Chess is a game I haven't played in a very long time, but I know that I would just immediately get back into if I did. I love strategy games. I have played Axis and Allies with my buddy Demetrius. Love that game. Definitely would be something I could play more. I have played Risk with my brother when I was younger. And what was the other thing that I played? I played a lot of different games. Flux. I have played D&D. And it's actually kind of funny. I used to play like a homebrew variant of D&D. I'm looking at the most beautiful scrub jay I've ever seen in front of me right now. I'm parked in front of a light post, and there's a beautiful, rich blue scrub jay that's just chilling. He's getting seeds right now. Man, absolutely beautiful, rich, deep blue. I'm scared to grab my camera and have it fly away, but man, absolutely gorgeous. If you ever seen a blue jay or a scrub jay, you know what I'm talking about. But my buddy Demetrius and I, we used to do a phone version of D&D, and this was before we both even knew what D&D was. And we just called it scenarios, and it would be something like, you know, you're an armed security guard, and the zombie apocalypse breaks out. You have this kit. What do you do? And things like that. And different scenarios would be posed like that. We'll come to find out later on, when his brother really got heavily involved in Dungeons and Dragons, it's pretty much the same concept, except it's more exquisite with the rules, with the dice and the, you know, the traps and the different design and everything like that. And I love the creativity that goes into Dungeons and Dragons. I think it's genuinely and sincerely so much fun. And we kind of played a little bit of a homebrew version of it. Never played it professionally. But my biggest game that I have been playing since I was 5 years old is the card game Yu-Gi-Oh! The Japanese trading card game Yu-Gi-Oh! And it's a Monday as I'm recording this. And at the time of this recording, I just watched the World Championship tournament for Yu-Gi-Oh! I didn't watch it all the way through. I caught the very tail end of it. And an American has won the World Championship, which is very cool. Huge congratulations to him. But yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is something that I've been playing literally since I was 5 years old. And I got into the cards first, and then got into the anime, and then got into the cards even more. And the cards actually were a catalyst that taught me how to read, because I wanted to learn what the cards did and have fun with them. And so I would read them, and it heightened my vocabulary so much, because you're not just reading a story, you're needing to read game mechanics, right? And figure out strategy and all the different things that go into it. And so that was my biggest thing, actually, is I played Yu-Gi-Oh! A lot before I got on the show, and then when I got on the show, all of my time was eaten up from the show. So I would try to go as often as I could, with as much frequency as I could, staying involved in the game while I was still on the show. So my weekends would be spent playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Essentially. And then, of course, different things happen with life and my studies and different passions, and so I would take time off of it. And actually, I would play Yu-Gi-Oh! With my buddy Demetrius. We would go to local comic book shops and do tournaments together, and we would do the bigger tournaments as well. And when the show ended, I had 2 goals. When the show ended, when I left the set, I had 2 goals in my mind and in my heart that I knew I wanted to achieve. I wanted to play Yu-Gi-Oh! And grow a beard. And I did both. And it was awesome. And so I played Yu-Gi-Oh! For a long while, was really heavily involved in it, and then Yu-Gi-Oh! Is one of those games where you need to, like, play it, and then you take a break from it. Like, you really play it, and then you take a break from it. And I know countless number of people who have been playing the game since they were when I started playing the game. And, same thing, always happens. They get into it, stay into it for a while, take a break. Get into it, stay into it for a while, take a break. And it's so much fun to be able to see. And yeah, so I actually played Yu-Gi-Oh! Very heavily during COVID, because they had these remote duel, like, Discord servers where you could go in and play in tournaments, but it was online, and you'd use your webcam to show your mat with all of your cards, and you'd play against an actual opponent, so you could actually use your cards and your sleeves and the mats and all that other good stuff. All the stuff that makes Yu-Gi-Oh! So good. And I have a couple Yu-Gi-Oh! Videos here on the channel. If you go back in time, you'll see them. But man, yeah, I took a break from Yu-Gi-Oh! For a while. And then now, after watching the World Championship again, it's like I have the bug for it again. And now I'm like doing research on what are the cards now, and what are the sets that have come out, and what are the popular decks, and all this other stuff. So, that's your nerd autistic hyperfixation from me for today, everyone. You're welcome, Internet. And now, my dear compadres and companions, we are going to be unveiling the next part of our delicious lunch. A fantastic supercalifragilisticexpialidocious dessert. And that is the Carl's Jr. Itty Bitty chocolate cake with frosting. This, my friends, is life-giving. This right here is the creme de la creme. Now, what's going to be my chief complaint? Let's fill out the Atticus Eats bingo card. It's smaller. They never used to be this small. I can remember the chocolate cake would be about the size of the old school spicy chicken sandwich. And my mom would get this for me, but we would share it. So we would cut it in half, we'd share it. And man, it would be a glorious time. But yeah, the little plastic cup. Even though it is smaller, the recipe has remained the same. And it makes me so ridiculously happy. This is by far the softest cake. Like the most delicious, you know, light, fluffy cake with absolutely stupendous frosting. Carl's Jr. does pack things appropriately in plastic wrap. Then I don't have to worry about people sneezing on my fork. Oh my goodness. Y'all, I'm excited. Oh yeah. Oh yes. Look. It's so gorgeous. Na zdrowie. Mwah. Still the same. Earliest memory of one of these is probably when I was like 4 or 5 years old. I'm 26 now. So, approximately 22 years later, still going strong. Thank you, Carl's Jr. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah. And I am gonna sit here and eat this whole thing. Because it's smaller. So. Outstanding. Outstanding. Oh, so good. There are many Carl's Jr. desserts that are actually really good. Like, they have a lot of shakes, they have a lot of ice cream, cakes, cookies. They have, like, the cinnamon toast bread or whatever it is. The cinnamon... I forget what it is. This is insanely awesome. Look at that. And it's got a little bit of a fudgy bottom to it, too. Which makes it so, like, extra delicious. Do you all have a favorite treat that you get from any fast food restaurant? Like, is there something that you would go to a fast food restaurant for just for that one thing? I met a lady once. I think this was last year. And we were both in line at Panda Express. And, I don't know how it even came up in conversation. But she was like, yeah, the other day I came to Panda Express just to buy a bag of their fortune cookies. And I sat in my car and I ate them. Because the crunch was satisfying. And then, yeah. That was interesting to me. That was interesting to me. I don't know that I could do that. And the fortunes are meaningless now. There's not even any bad fortunes to, like, offset the good fortunes. It's all the, they're all participation prize fortunes. You know? Your smile is attractive. You will do well. Confucius says you can. I want to see fortunes come back that are like, you need to fight a bear tomorrow. You know. Hike the mountain. Stop wearing athletic wear. I could keep going, but I'm not. I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna be good. We're gonna get to another question here in a minute there, my friends. Amazing flashback to childhood memories. Galore. All about the little things. Oh, that one I wanted to put away. Alright. To the questions again. Let's answer some more fun ones. The Game SARS question was awesome. Okay. Jennifer Krog, here on YouTube, asks, did you ad-lib much on the middle? Great question. No. This was a show where Eileen, the creator of the show, was very, very, very rigid. We were not able to deviate much as far as ad-libbing and doing things on the show. It was a very rigid project. You needed to say things as written, and if you wanted to change verbiage, even if it was just to make it more natural, I mean, it was almost like a pitch process to her to try to get anything adjusted at all. And so it was very much a Eileen's way and that's it kind of project. But in addition to that, I don't know that the other actors were very good at ad-lib. There's actors that are, like, brilliant, like, you know, Norm Macdonald and Dave Foley, and a lot of the other actors that we brought in on the show would be very good at ad-lib and thinking on the fly and whatever. And obviously I have a skill set of doing that as well, because look at what I do now for work, which is an entirely ad-lib kind of project, right? This and the streams and whatever. But yeah, like Eden and Charlie and Patty, they would try stuff and it was like, oh, you just went off script. And they needed to, okay, let's do it again. No, go back to the way it's written. And, yeah, that was kind of an awkward thing that we had on our show. It was mostly because Eileen was just so rigid about, you must say it the way that I wrote it and no other way. That made it more awkward, because then we couldn't improv or try something creatively. And I remember that was what was so incredibly refreshing when I got off of the middle and I got onto Never Have I Ever, which is a Mindy Kaling project on Netflix with Universal. I got to play a guest character on that, and it was so refreshing because my very first day, the director shook my hand and he was like, bro, you freaking crushed it in the audition. I'm so excited to work with you. And I was like, oh my gosh, thank you. You're so nice. And he was like, hey, by the way that I work, if ever you want to just try something, go for it. Because what's the worst that can happen? We do another take? Who cares? What if it's freaking gold? And he was just so warm and inviting and like, no, let's just have fun together. That's our job. Our job is to have fun and be creative. Let's do it. And it was so refreshing. I was like, wait, so all the sets in the world aren't like the middle? It's not all just Eileen and her demanding us to do things a certain way? And yeah, so that was really awesome. That was so refreshing and so creatively exciting. And from talking to different actors and like doing the Warner Brothers Directors Workshop and things like that, I know that that's the way it's supposed to be. You do have a script. You have to honor the written material. But if an actor wants to try something, the actor should be allowed to try something. I so wish I remember his name. I'll write it here if the name is incorrect, but I think it's Marlon Brando. He was in Frankenweenie. I was in Frankenweenie with him. And I got to sit with him because all of us as a cast had a dinner as we were doing publicity for the movie at Disneyland. And I was listening to him speak. And he was absolutely outstanding to listen to. And what he was saying is, he was saying as an actor, the best directors are the ones that set up a play space for the actor, that don't restrict their movement, that aren't completely so rigid that nothing can be attempted creatively. And you can allow the creativity to flow naturally from the actors and then from the set for the story. And that's always stuck with me. That's been very, very profound for me, especially as I move forward creatively and pursue things like directing and producing and writing and storytelling. That's very huge for me. But Jennifer, thank you very much for that question. You are awesome. Okay, let's do one more. This is a fun one. Written by Fun Gus and Uncle Sid on YouTube. You guys have asked me, we wanted to know if you watch WWE wrestling. Great question. No, I have never gotten into WWE wrestling as much as others have. But my brother is a huge fan of WWE wrestling. And my mom tells me stories all the time about growing up and him watching WWE, him being a fan. Gosh, who are some of the classics? Obviously, you know, you have the people like the Hulk Hogans, and then you had Savage, Macho Man Savage. Ooh, that guy, you know? And then, of course, later on, it was The Rock and all the other people. You give the people's elbow and things like that. So, yeah, no, I never got into it, but my brother is hugely into it. He had the WrestleMania figures and the sets and the little ring. My mom even played for me once a cassette tape that she found of my brother in his room practicing being like a wrestling announcer. And it was so hilarious to hear. It was just so insanely awesome. And it was such a fun time. So, yeah, I know it's big. I really do know that it's big. But, yeah, I haven't been able to get into it. How about all of you? Are y'all into WWE? The one pay-per-view thing that I ever watched in my life, that I stayed up for and I watched, was the Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather boxing match, because it was so hyped up. It was so hyped up, and I was like, okay, I need to watch this. This is going to be amazing, you know. And all the publicity beforehand of, you know, Conor, you know, trying to match the weight for Floyd Mayweather and, you know, all that other stuff. And it was so funny because all of the, I don't know what you would call those matches, but all of the boxing matches that were before the main event were far better than the main event. And it wasn't until later that I watching the actual boxers, like there was a Navy dude who was a professional Navy boxer, an Army boxer, you know, there was a bunch of other people that they were actually like going for it, like drawing blood and bruising each other up and giving each other shiners and all that other stuff. It's like, okay, those were real fights. That was really like two men beating the tar out of each other, right? And then you get to the main event with all of these marshmallow blows that both of them were giving to the other. And then at the end, Conor McGregor with all of his, it's the fatigue, man. I was just so fatigued. He got me. And then later on, the next day, I went to work complaining about it. Like, I spent $100 to watch this. This was stupid. And everybody on set was like, well, yeah, what did you expect? They both get $3 million just for showing up. It's irrelevant who wins. They already got paid. And it's like, wait, what? Oh, the real world stinks, doesn't it? Yeah. But shout out to all the other boxers, because they did pretty good. They did pretty good. They were interesting to see. I'll probably never pay to watch a fight ever again, unless it's sumo wrestling. I think I'd still pay money to watch sumo wrestling in person. Yeah, I think so. Anyways, my amazing friends, please be sure to check the description box down below. I have a link to my Twitch channel. For those of you who don't know what Twitch is essentially Amazon's answer to YouTube. It's a live streaming platform, so instead of just uploading videos, it's actually live streaming. So if you want to interact with me live under the guise of, you know, Christian fellowship and some video gaming, please be sure to come hang out with me on Twitch. Make a Twitch account, follow me on Twitch. It's completely free to do, helps me out a ton, and it's a very fun time. As long as, please be kind, obey the rules. The rules are there for a reason, and for the chat. And please be sure to come hang out. I go live every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, as I call it, at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Or Pacific Time. I know that actually changes with the time change. And then also, a link to my Cameo page down below. If you want to book me to give a personalized video shout out to you or someone you love, please be sure to book me on Cameo. I'd love to put a smile on yours or your loved ones' faces and make your special days extra special. You guys are amazing. Please be sure to hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Comment down below. Answer the questions. Give me your thoughts. Tell me what you thought. Do you have Carl's Jr. or do you have Hardee's where you're at? Have you tried both? Which is better? And what is your usual order? I'm very curious like a cat. Call me Whiskers. You guys are amazing. Be well. I'll see you in the next one. Do widzenia.
I just want a great life. Something where I feel like I just didn't waste time. Something I look back and say that was a great time. Cause man, I just hate when the years pass by the way